Now, joining us this afternoon to talk about the exploit and the fantastic run of the Team Nigeria's Junior Yellow Greens is a cricket specialist and cricket pundit. Seun Ajidagba joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, and a beautiful time, of course, to be a Nigerian.
Good afternoon, Favor. Happy times to everyone who is a Nigerian, and of course, super excited to join you once again in the game. And today I was over the moon because I stayed awake to see my ladies do what they know how to do best at the YSD UKM cricket ground in Bangui, where they defeated a full member of the International Cricket Council. Nobody ever saw this coming because our plan, according to Mr. President, was that in 2028, then we will show ourselves to the world. But we are overachieving in 2025. And it all started, like I told you, from 2024, where we got so many laurels. I mean, from the African Games in Achimota, Ghana, the 13th edition, where we won bronze, which was quite unprecedented, the youngest team and the least ranked team. We went to our usual competition we go in May, that's in Rwanda at the Gahanga Cricket Stadium, where we always go for the Kwibuka Women's T20 I tournament. It's a tournament that is used to remember the over 256,000 people that lost their lives in the Hutu and the Tutsi crisis. So this was the 10th edition, and the teams we faced, the likes of Uganda, the likes of Namibia, the likes of Kenya, we gave them a run for their money. Even when we went for the African Games, nobody saw it coming that we'll be beating Uganda in the third place game to win bronze. And we ruffled shoulders with the eventual champions in Zimbabwe. We also ruffled shoulders with South Africa, though they didn't bring their first team squad. But these youngsters who have been playing for the senior national team, have put us in the world map for the positive reasons. And when we went to the tournament in Rwanda for the qualifiers, we defeated Zimbabwe against all the odds on September 23rd, 2024. Nobody will ever forget that day in history. And we could not play Zimbabwe in the final. But what the tournament organizer said is that because of the rain that fell and there was be a winner, Nigeria had already beaten Zimbabwe before in the group stage. So it was on that premise that Nigeria should get the sole ticket to qualify for the World Cup. And we got to this World Cup. Even before the World Cup, we were already showing a lot of people that, hey, we are here for serious business. When we took on Pakistan, the 8th ranked team in the world, on the 13th of January in a friendly game, they not only won us by 11 runs. And when we played against Scotland, who was ranked 14th in the world, and a team that was also there at the inaugural edition, we beat them by 6 wickets. And then came the game against Samoa. Samoa was lucky that heavens came down, and we had to share points, which was very painful for us. But when we met New Zealand, nobody will ever forget that day. January 20th of 2025, a lovely Monday. We beat them at the Bondo Cricket Ground in Sarawak by 2 runs. And that's a team that was semi-finalist at the inaugural edition. Okay. And had 6 players from the 15 players that played at the inaugural edition in that team. So in terms of experience, they were vastly experienced. And we lost against South Africa, which was no shame, because South Africa are ranked #1 in Africa, and they are one of the top 5 teams in the world when it comes to cricket. And of course, we lost by 22 runs. And we were supposed to play England in the Super 6. But heavens came down again on Saturday, and we had to share points before we now played Ireland today, and we won Ireland by 6 runs. But the reason England got that semi-final ticket at the expense of Nigeria was because I explained to you that we had 16 teams take part in this competition across 4 groups, and the top 3 teams in each group will qualify for the Super 6. But there is a bait that is attached to this thing, and that is if the top 3 teams in your group that you beat, qualify for the Super 6, it's additional point for you. Unlike in Nigeria's group that had South Africa, Nigeria, New Zealand, and Samoa. South Africa beat everybody, but because Samoa did not qualify for the Super 6, that point did not count when they were going into the Super 6. Unlike an English team that had in our group USA, Ireland, and Pakistan. And USA and Ireland both qualified for the Super 6. So those points counted. And so for me, this victory today showed us that we are there to ruffle shoulders with a lot of people. And I tell you something, Favor. So those who don't understand how important this victory is, Ireland are full members of International Cricket Council. Nigeria is an associate member. New Zealand is a test-playing country. And out of the 15 players that came for the inaugural edition of the Under-19 World Cup in South Africa, 9 of them played against Nigeria today. So in terms of experience, their vast experience, from their captain, Niami McNulty, to Priya Sargent, their vice captain, to Abby Harrison, to Jennifer Jackson, to Amy Maguire, to Ellie McGee, to Kia McCartney, to Annabelle Scooters. 9 out of 15 were part of this game today. So Nigeria has done well, and credit must go to Lilian Ude for that spirited performance, because he won the player of the match after taking 3 wickets for 11 runs in 4 overs. But the entire team, they did excellently well. From my captain.
Okay. All right, Seun. I mean, you've given us a brief, not just a brief run of how the competition went. You've also given us in-depth analysis on how they were able to get to this place. I would like to bring Jidechi on this. Now, Jidechi, Nigeria finished top 10. Nigeria also have been able to qualify for the 2027 tournament. How significant is this for cricket in Nigeria, especially in Nigerian angle?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge feat. You heard all Seun said. I think he said something that I did pick out, which is the fact that those girls have put Nigeria on the map in terms of cricket. It's just like we were discussing some weeks back, how many times we talk about sports in Nigeria, cricket is not one of those sports that get to come up. And here we are participating at one level of the Women's World Cup. And already we are talking about participating at the next Women's World Cup coming up 2 years from now. I think it's a very impressive feat. The fact that these girls are going out there for the first time, doing all they did in the qualifiers, and going into this competition to defeat countries that are regulars in terms of cricket in the world. We are defeating countries that one would have easily thought that Nigeria would have been swept over by in these matches. But these girls are pulling off feats that we could possibly say that have not been achieved before by Nigeria in cricket at the World Cup. So yes, I'm very excited. I'm very happy that they could at least make it into the top 10, where we get to see them at the next World Cup, which is coming up in 2027. It's a very huge feat, very impressive. I think everything needs to be put in place right now.
Okay.
So not only have these girls, the under-19, do well at the next World Cup, but also have other levels of our cricket teams do so well, both the men and the women, because cricket really is on the rise. Just, I think, late last year or sometime around the last quarter of the last year, we're talking about the men's team and how they were performing so well. And right now we're talking about the women's team. So yes, cricket really is on the rise, and we need to treat cricket as much as we treat football and every other big sport in Nigeria.
All right, Seun, before I let you go, now, despite not making the semi-finals, Nigeria finished in top 10. What are the key lessons the team can take from this tournament to build for the future? And also looking ahead of the 2027 tournament to be hosted by Nepal and Bangladesh, how should Nigeria prepare to ensure a stronger performance in the next Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup?
My president and the chairman of Edo State Cricket Association, for his visionary leadership, Mr. Uyosa Nosawaru Apata, for all he has done for cricket. Now, my late dad used to tell me that getting to the top is very easy, but maintaining topmost performance is the most difficult thing. We have announced ourselves in a positive way. I told you we defeated New Zealand, who are semi-finalists at the inaugural edition, and we also defeated a full member of International Cricket Council in Ireland. Everybody will be out for Nigeria, and so we cannot afford to rest on our oars. Preparation must start immediately the World Cup ends on Sunday, because already we know our semi-finalists at the Bayumas over in Pandamaran. Australia will be taking on South Africa in the first semi-final on Friday, and the second semi-final will be a repeat of the final of the inaugural edition, that is India, defending champion, versus England. So for us, preparation must start in earnest. But what I'm happy about is that we have saved ourselves of any headache of playing the qualifiers, and we are likely to see what happened in 2023 during the inaugural edition. South Africa hosted, and South Africa automatically will get their space by virtue of their status as a test playing country. And then we now had Zimbabwe and Rwanda also joining. So for us, we are happy that we have saved ourselves of any qualifier. We can then now focus. All I'm just praying for now is that the government, private individual, corporate bodies should please come and support cricket. We are seeing that we are putting the image of the country on the world map. I was telling you that day, Table, you thought I was joking. When they inaugurated the 47th American president in Donald Trump, the victory over New Zealand overshadowed it. And that was how we were all over the media. Everywhere they were talking about Nigeria. So for us to do well in 2027, because we have announced ourselves now, preparation must start now. And so we need all the support. And I'm sure that Mr. President, in his visionary leadership, will not rest on his oars, because he knows that other countries will now pay attention to Nigeria by virtue of what we have done in Africa and what we have done at the global scene. We beat Zimbabwe, we beat Uganda in Africa, we are beating Rwanda, we are beating Kenya, we are beating Tanzania, and then we went to the global stage. We did a no grief for anybody with South Africa, we did a no grief for anybody with New Zealand and Ireland. So everybody is watching us now.
All right, I mean, I must say a big thank you to you, Seun Ajidagba, for your quality time. I mean, indeed, we've seen that if we can invest in sports, and not just about football or basketball, we can get the dividends. That's one thing we're seeing right now with cricket, and we hope that other federations can follow suit towards the development of sport. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much, people, and great show you're having in the game. And Jirechi, thank you for the support. Thank you to all Nigerians, and we hope we have been able to make you proud. Like I've always said, cricket, gentleman's game, the Bona basket is the best in the world, because we do what others don't do.
All right, thank you very much. All right.